The day my sister called me begging for help is carved into my memory like a scar that never fades. Her voice came through the phone, jittery and desperate. "Megan, please. I need you right now. Meet me at the Walmart on 5th Street. It's an emergency." That word, emergency, sent alarm bells screaming through my chest. Madison always had some crisis, but this time her tone was different. Shaky, breathless. I dropped what I was doing at the clinic, half-finished charts, open folders, and muttered something about a family situation to my supervisor. I had no idea that in 20 minutes, my life, and another child's, would spiral into something I could never have prepared for. When I pulled into the parking lot, the summer heat was shimmering off the asphalt. Madison's old sedan was already there, idling near the garden center. Before I could even turn off my engine, she jumped out, yanked open her back door, and half-dragged her little girl toward me. "Come on, sweetheart," she said, juggling her purse and keys. "You're going to stay with Aunt Megan for a little bit, okay?" 6-year-old Sophia looked pale, her cheeks blotched pink with fever. Her small hands clutched a worn-out rabbit by its ear. "Mommy, my head hurts," she whimpered. "I know, baby. Aunt Megan will take care of you. I'll be back soon, back soon." Those 2 words would replay in my mind for years, like a curse. "Madison, what's going on?" I asked, reaching out to steady Sophia. "How long are you—" "Just 1 hour. 2 tops, I promise." Before I could speak again, she was already backing toward her car. I'll explain later, okay?" Then she pulled the door shut and drove off. No hug, no backward glance. Just gone. I stood in that parking lot for a long second, Sophia's tiny hand shaking in mine, the rumble of my sister's engine fading into distance. Sophia coughed weakly against my shoulder. "Aunt Megan, can we go home now?" "Yeah, sweetheart," I swallowed hard. "Let's get you cooled down." In the rearview mirror, Isabella, my 8-year-old, had twisted around in her booster seat, curiosity mixing with excitement. "Cool, we get a sleepover?" "Maybe," I said. My voice sounded steadier than I felt. I took Sophia back to my apartment, gave her medicine, fanned her with a cool towel, and checked her temperature. 100.8 degrees F. Manageable. I kept calling Madison's number, each time hearing the same automated voicemail greeting that now felt like an insult. "The person you are trying to reach is not available." Another hour passed. Then 2. I drove back to the same parking spot under the flickering lights, circling the lot, hoping to see her car pull in. Nothing. By dusk, I went inside to speak with a security guard. He listened sympathetically but shook his head. "We can't check the footage without a police report." So I called the police. The officer who arrived was polite but detached, the kind of weary calm you get from too many domestic calls. I explained everything step by step. He took notes. "Your niece looks safe," he said, glancing at Sophia, who had fallen asleep against my arm. "We can log it as a welfare check, but if you don't think she's in immediate danger, it's a family matter for now. Try to reach your sister again. File a missing person report if she doesn't show up by tonight." By family matter, he meant not our problem yet. At 10 p.m., I called Madison's ex-husband, Ethan, who was also Sophia's dad. "Have you heard from Madison?" I asked. "She left Sophia with me this afternoon, said it'd be an hour, and now she's vanished." A long silence hummed through the line. Then Ethan sighed deeply. "She did it, didn't she?" "Did what?" "She told me 2 weeks ago she couldn't do this anymore. She said she needed a break. I told her she'd lost it." "But damn, Megan, I didn't think she'd actually go through with it." My stomach clenched. "Are you saying she planned this?" He exhaled, voice strangely calm, like a soldier who'd seen it coming. "She asked if I could take Sophia. I told her no. I'm still deployed in Germany for 6 more months. I thought she'd find someone local. I didn't think she meant you." I looked at the sleeping child in the next room. "Well, it's me now. She left her daughter in a Walmart parking lot and disappeared." "I'm sorry," Ethan said. "Please don't let her end up in the system. I'll send money when I can, but right now, you're it." "What choice do I have?" I murmured. The next morning, I marched into Child Protective Services, exhaustion settling beneath my ribs. I told them everything. They logged it as abandonment. For the next 8 weeks, I balanced work, rent, and now 2 children, one mine, one my sister's, on a single paycheck. I kept Sophia home at first, claiming she was just visiting. But when the school district wouldn't let her enroll without legal guardianship, I realized this wasn't temporary. Madison was gone. Her apartment was empty. Her phone disconnected. No trail, no goodbye, no explanation. Sophia asked every night, "When's Mommy coming?" Soon, I would whisper. But in my gut, I knew that soon might never come. CPS assigned me a caseworker named Martha. Practical, patient, kind. She reviewed every scrap of evidence I had. The police report, Ethan's written statement from overseas, the unanswered calls, the faint hope still clinging to my voice. "This is abandonment, plain and simple," Martha said gently. "I'll recommend a temporary guardianship order until the situation changes." 3 weeks later, I stood in front of Judge Walter Harrison, palms damp, knees wobbling. Sophia sat beside me, coloring quietly with crayons from her backpack. The judge glanced at the file, then at me. "You've been caring for this child continuously since her mother left?" "Yes, Your Honor, 2 months now. Her father's active duty overseas." He nodded once, expression unreadable. "This is not an easy situation, but it's clear the child is safe with you. Temporary guardianship granted to Megan Hale. Review in 6 months." The gavel dropped, a short, heavy sound that somehow filled the room. For the first time in weeks, the air felt breathable again. 2 months turned into 6, then 12, then 2 years. I raised Sophia as my own. Doctor visits, school homework, bedtime stories about brave rabbits who waited for lost mothers. She became Isabella's sister in every way, except by bloodline paperwork. Life wasn't easy. My small savings vanished fast under medical bills and school supplies. Some nights I cried quietly after they were asleep, wondering how to stretch my paycheck one more week. But seeing them both safe was enough to keep me going. Then, exactly 2 years later, the phone rang. Madison. The same familiar number that had been dead for ages now blinked on my screen like a ghost resurrected. My pulse spiked. I answered, unsteady. "Madison?" Her voice was smooth, casual, as if she'd just stepped out for groceries. "Hey, Megan, long time." For a second I couldn't speak. I swallowed the flood of anger and relief tangled together. "Where have you been? Do you have any idea?" "I don't have time for guilt trips," she interrupted. "Listen, I need $10,000. "What?" $10,000. By next week. Or I tell the police you kidnapped my daughter." The world tilted beneath me, silent except for Isabella's laughter echoing faintly from the kitchen. 2 years of raising her abandoned child, feeding her, clothing her, loving her, and now this. My hand tightened around the phone. Madison's voice rolled on, confident as ever. "You wouldn't want to lose everything you've built, right?" I realized then that this wasn't about sisterhood or survival. It was about control, the same pattern of manipulation she'd always wielded, sharper now with desperation. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one trembling, because what she didn't know was that I'd kept every document, every message, every legal ruling stamped with a judge's seal, and I was done being her safety net. 3 weeks later, Judge Walter Harrison granted me temporary legal guardianship. "This gives you authority to make educational and medical decisions," he explained. "Custody will be reviewed every 6 months. Now I could enroll Sophia in school. Now I could take her to the doctor. Now legally I was her guardian, so I did what I had to do. I enrolled Sophia in Isabella's school. I moved her into Isabella's room. I bought her thrift store clothes. I celebrated her 7th birthday with homemade cake. I loved her because she deserved to be beloved. But it was hard. My grocery bills doubled. My electric bill went up. I worked overtime constantly, but there were never enough hours or dollars. Every 6 months I went back to court. Any contact from the mother? Judge Harrison would ask. "No, Your Honor." Each time my guardianship was extended. There were nights when I cried in the shower because I didn't know how I'd pay rent. I started buying generic everything. I cut the cable. I learned to cook beans and rice a dozen ways. But I never sent Sophia away. She was innocent. And through it all, 2 years, Madison never called. Never sent money, never showed up to court, nothing. Then one afternoon my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Megan. Madison, where the hell have you been? I needed time to figure things out. I'm better now. You want Sophia back. You want Sophia back? Madison, you abandoned her. You disappeared for 2 years. I didn't abandon her. I left her with you temporarily. Temporarily? It's been 2 years. You never called, never sent money. I knew she was safe with you. You had no right. I've been raising 2 kids in my salary. I can barely afford groceries. Madison's tone turned cold. Actually, we need to talk about that. About what? About you keeping my daughter from me? My jaw dropped. Are you serious? If I go to the police and tell them you kidnapped my daughter, that I left her with you for a few hours and you refused to give her back, things could get complicated for you. You're threatening me. You took my child. You filed legal papers without my consent. That sounds like kidnapping because you disappeared. That's your version. My version is I had an emergency, and when I tried to get her back, you'd stolen custody. I felt sick. What do you want, Madison? 10,000? What? Give me $10,000 and I'll sign over my rights. No custody battle, no police. Or we can go to court and I'll make your life hell. Even if I don't win, the legal fees will destroy you. You can barely afford groceries. How will you afford a lawyer? My hands shook. I don't have $10,000. Then I guess we're going to court, and I'll make sure everyone knows what you did. Something snapped inside me. Fine, let's go to court. Call me a kidnapper. Report me because I have 2 years of documentation. Bank statements, school records, medical records, court-ordered guardianship papers, CPS reports from the day you disappeared, and Ethan's written statement confirming you planned to abandon Sophia. Madison was silent. You have nothing. You disappeared for 2 years, never called your daughter on her birthday, never sent $1, never showed up to custody hearings. So go ahead. Take me to court. I'm done being scared of you. You'll regret this. See you in court. I hung up. Madison filed for emergency custody 2 weeks later, claiming I'd unlawfully detained her daughter. I hired a lawyer named Janice who took my case at a reduced rate. We organized every piece of evidence, bank statements, medical records, school forms, CPS reports, custody review documentation, and Ethan's statement. The hearing day arrived. I was terrified, but when Madison walked in, I knew she'd lost. She looked disheveled. No lawyer, just handwritten notes she shuffled nervously. Judge Harrison, the same judge who'd granted me guardianship, reviewed the file silently. Then he looked at Madison. Ms. Carter, you're claiming your sister unlawfully detained your daughter for 2 years. Yes, Your Honor. I left Sophia briefly while dealing with an emergency. When I tried to get her back, Megan had filed documents and refused. A brief period. The judge repeated. According to records, you disappeared for 2 years, made no contact, provided no support, didn't attend any custody review hearings. I was dealing with a mental health crisis. And your sister fed, clothed, housed, educated, and provided medical care entirely out of pocket while working as a medical assistant and raising her own child. Correct. Madison hesitated. Yes, but without my permission. She filed for guardianship after you abandoned your daughter in a parking lot and disappeared. She followed every legal procedure correctly. Judge Harrison turned to me. Miss Turner, do you wish to retain custody? I stood. Yes, Your Honor. Sophia has been with me for 2 years. She's settled, happy, thriving. I love her like my own daughter. The judge nodded, then looked at Madison. I've reviewed the evidence thoroughly. Your sister documented everything. She provided a stable, loving home. You vanished without trace and made no effort to contact your child. Your Honor, I was sick. If you were sick, you could have called, sent a letter, asked someone to check on your daughter. You did none of those things. And now your turn, not with gratitude, but with threats and demands for money. Madison went pale. She told you. Your sister's attorney submitted recordings of your conversations, including where you attempted to extort $10,000 and threatened false kidnapping accusations. I'm granting full permanent custody of Sophia Carter to Megan Turner, effective immediately. No, Madison shouted. Furthermore, you will have supervised visitation only pending evaluation. You will also pay child support once you secure employment. I don't have a job. That's your responsibility. You have a legal obligation to contribute financially. This hearing is adjourned. The gavel came down. That was 6 months ago. Madison hasn't shown up for a single visit. Hasn't paid $1. There's a warrant out for her arrest now for contempt of court. But Sophia is thriving. She calls me Mama Megan now. She's happy, confident, loved. Ethan visits on leave and contributes financially now. He's endlessly grateful. People ask if I regret tagging on Sophia. The answer is no, never. Sophia didn't ask to be abandoned. She deserved love and stability. I gave her that. Madison will always be her biological mother, but I'm the one who showed up. I'm the one who stayed. Isabella and Sophia call themselves sisters now. They share a room, share secrets, fight over toys, and make up minutes later. We're a family, not the family I planned, but the family we became. And that's what matters most. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories about choosing love and standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Drop a comment. Have you ever had to step up when a family failed? I want to hear your stories. See you in the next one.